Hey everyone, so today we are starting corn harvest. We got started this morning. We're just kind of trying to get maybe 8 or 9,000 bushel combine so we can get a pretty decent pile in the wet bin, so that we can get the dryer fired up and get it kind of all set exactly where we want it. I'm in this field's 125 acres. It's averaging 20.5% moisture, so that's about where we want to start with drying. Low 20s is I'm happy with. You get much above 22, I really don't want to combine any because it gets a little less efficient drying. But this field's dry enough, so we're going to start here and get some combine today. I'm just sitting here waiting on the grain cart, so it's yielding pretty decent. Pretty happy with that. But yeah, once I'll combine another couple thousand bushel or so, we'll probably stop and go get the dryer fired up and see if we can get that set exactly where we want it so that we can really push hard combining. So I think we're on a quick combine in there for the day. We got a little over 36 acres done, so we got a pretty good pile in the wet bin, so probably ought to go home and get the dryer fired up and get everything set on that the way we want it, so that hopefully tomorrow we can combine some corn pretty good. So, but yeah, we're gonna head home and see if we can't get this dryer fired up. Getting the dryer filled up. We got corn coming out of the wet bin here, augering up into the dryer. Getting her filled for the first time here. See how she works. So I'll show you our unload setup real quick. So I just bought this drive over conveyor. It's a Batco. Just drive over it, dumps into our auger, and fills the bin. The conveyor is run by hydraulics, run by the tractor, which is my 1086. Auger's a 13-inch by 81-foot long Westfield. So, works pretty good. Kind of speeds up, having this conveyor kind of speeds up our unloading a little bit. Unloading trucks is kind of the bottleneck that slows us down during harvest. So anyway, we can speed that up a little bit. It sure helps, but you're always going to have a bottleneck. But that's what ours is getting the trucks unloaded quick enough. But yeah, that's how we do that. All right, we got the dryer kicked on, so we're cooking corn now. Still kind of working on getting it dialed in exactly where I want it before I turn it on automatic mode. But basically what we got going on here is the corn's coming in about 20%. We're drying it to 16.5 because we're dumping the corn hot, and when we put it into the bin and cool it in the bin, it's going to dry it down to around 15%. So it's going to continue to dry when we're cooling it. So that's why we dump it out of the dryer at about 16 and a half. So basically, if you don't know how these work, we have our wet bin here. Our wet bin holds 18,000 bushel. It's coming out of this auger, filling the dryer, and it's continuous flow. So there's corn continuously coming out of the dryer, dumping into the air system, and the air system takes it up into one of these two storage bins. So I built this grain bin setup last year. This is my second fall using it. Got two storage bins here. These are both 36-foot bins, 8 rings tall, so they hold 27,000 bushel apiece. The wet bin's a 30-foot bin, 8 rings tall, holds 18,000. So basically, there's metering rolls at the bottom of this dryer that are pulling corn out of the bottom and dumping it into the unload auger that's dumping it in the air system. So those metering rolls speed up and slow down automatically to get the correct moisture we're wanting out of this dryer. So right now we're dumping out of the dryer, going right into this first bin here. Just getting started, filling it. There's a little pile in there. So the dryer is pretty well all automatic. As the corn gets down a little bit, it tells this auger to kick on and fills it back up. Once it gets full, it kicks the auger off. And yeah, the metering rolls are automatically slowing down and speeding up so that we get our desired moisture we want. Air system's constantly running. And yeah, it works really slick. Once you get it dialed in that first day, then it really don't have any problems with it. So really like this dryer. It's a GSI dryer. We can dry about 1,000 bushel an hour, removing 5 points of moisture. So I do use the wet bin for storage as well, because usually by the time we get done with harvest, the corn's dry enough. I can just put it in the wet bin and run air on it and it'll be all right. So it is dual purpose. We use it as a wet bin when we're harvesting wet corn, and then make sure we get all the wet corn out of it before we're done. And then maybe the last field or whatever we'll dump in it will be dry enough that it doesn't need to be ran through the dryer. So then we can just use it for storage. There you can see the corn leaving the wet bin, going to the dryer, then going to the storage bin. Alright, it's the next day. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Just got the dryer fired up. I shut it off about 10 o'clock last night because the wet bin was going to run empty in the middle of the night, so I thought I'd just shut it off so I don't have to worry about it. But got it fired up and running now, so this wet bin should be getting pretty close to empty by the time we start combining this morning, so should have plenty of space for wet corn today. So we're in the wet bin here, getting it emptied out. We've been hauling dry corn, but decided to we better get this wet bin emptied because the corn out in the field is starting to get dry enough. We're not gonna have to dry it anymore, I don't think. So we're just getting it emptied right now. Don't really have to sit here and babysit it, but when you get down to the sweep, but you still have to kind of keep an eye on it and keep scooping every once in a while. So just kind of doing that right now.